All right. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Say hey to a couple of folks in the chat. Michael Farley and Miss JBP Hobbyist. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, Michael, and welcome back, JBP Hobbyist.
Well, as the title said, starting a stamp collection on a budget. And we got some mail call too. So we will start with the mail call right quick and get that out of the way. Mr. Jonathan has sent me a bunch of stamps.
Yeah, you were expected to.
Jonathan, thank you. Thank you. Dee just sent me a bunch of stamps.
Yeah.
Some I've done sorted out uh, and started adding to my stamp collection in my album. But I'm going to put this camera on. Well,
There it is. Using my tongs as a tuning fork.
yep, tongs. Got your tongs. They sent me a couple of Civil War stamps. I have not even took these out of the graphene envelope.
Now, those were issued in the 60s. Well, they're the 100th, they're the centennial of those battles, right? The different
65.
Civil War. Yeah.
These are mint condition stamps. Never been hinged. Never been licked. So supposedly, like I said, I hadn't took them out of these envelopes. So those are pretty cool.
That's a neat set.
And
I know I have
then
the Fort Sumter. I have the Gettysburg. I think there's one about in the Battle of the Wilderness. I may be wrong. I think they did one like every year. Well, Civil War was 61 to 65, so I think they
mhm,
did a 60. I did a 1961 centennial of Fort Sumter. 62, 63, 64 would have been, well, 63 is Gettysburg, so 1963 they probably did Gettysburg. Um, did they do an Appomattox stamp? But which two do you have?
it was,
I have some of them.
well, now
But those are really nice stamps.
I think one was that Appomattox.
Hi, Deej.
Appomattox and Gettysburg.
In Gettysburg, okay.
Speak of Deej, Deej, we've been showing
Yeah, those are nice stamps.
these two Civil War stamps, Gettysburg and Appomattox.
Actually, are
Thank you,
they,
Deej.
does it say 1180 and 1182 on them on the envelopes?
1180 and 1182.
Okay. So those must be the Scott numbers. So there's probably one in between those.
Yes, those are the Scott numbers.
That's neat. That's neat. Yeah, see again, I've got to fish through mine and see.
And
I do
then,
think I have the set.
yeah, then I got some cool stamps on that. We have an Olympic softball hand catcher, uh, osteopathic medicine stamp. I think that's how you say it. Uncle, a burning love. Thank you very much. And then, oh glory.
Yeah, it's great
Yes,
when
Deej, we thought they was cool too.
it's great when
Then,
stamp dealers do that.
now this one had a story. Uh, when they do this, Deej sent me this, but the dealer was supposed to send it, but she forgot to tell them my address, and she give them her address. So they went to her, and then they came to me. So and that stamp right there is a cool stamp. It's a thermal, some kind of thermal ink. I don't know if I can get it to do it, but you heat that black spot, and something happens. Of course, it's called the total eclipse stamp. Well, there you go. You can see it a little bit.
That's neat.
And then it'll turn, it's turning back black now. I thought that was a cool stamp. And inside this one, oh, I got stamps falling out everywhere. Let's just look at a few of them. These are from Deej. Here we have a Douglas MacArthur. Stamp. 50th anniversary. Woman suffrage. We have a Winter Olympic stamp.
That's a good looking one.
Circus stamp. I don't reckon I've ever seen that stamp. I hadn't got to go through these. This one looks mint. It still got the gum on the back of it. Pioneer Jupiter.
Hmm.
Space stamp. This one looks mint too. Skylab. I love space. Anything to do with space. American Artist Series, I guess. John Trumbull. Then we have a state stamp. Do what? Louisiana. Marquette Explorer stamp. I guess that's how you say it, John.
Oh, Marquette. Yeah.
Then we have the Girl Scout. Then we have a lot of I don't know what you call it. Traffic accident. propaganda stamps, I guess. Michael, I would, but we got a full slate tonight. Gibbon, Bud, Safe. It's hard to get used to the tones. International Women's Year. Here's a pretty cool one. First automated post office.
Oh, interesting. What year was that issued? If it says, it might not.
Well, it's got a date of 1960, Providence, Rhode Island. That's just a few, and these 2 packets of these.
So you get a lot
There's
to fish through.
probably, I'd say there's 100 stamps in them 2 packets. So, but guys, you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on stamps. I mean, so just about every one I've got so far, I spent $10 on some stamps. But folks have sent me stamps. Hey, you get mail. Some of them gonna have some cool stamps on. Another way of getting your stamps. You can buy your stamps on eBay, Amazon, even on Facebook Marketplace. And you can find some good deals. You don't have to get the most expensive stamp.
Well, definitely not.
I mean, now this is just an example. Now, I still can't hold on to it.
That's $1 million stamp in your hand.
Yeah. If it was real. This is not a real stamp, guys. It's a dream. It's the inverted genie. What happened? This has been double printed. Red print went on first. Well, say this is a whole sheet of stamps, probably what, 100 stamps on it, Jonathan? 200.
I don't know. I don't know how many were on that sheet.
So
I don't think there are 100 inverted jennies in existence, so it must have been a smaller sheet, but yeah, a bunch of them.
But it went in and it printed red. Well, somehow the page got turned like that. And then the airplane got printed on there with the blue ink. And from what I've read, all but one page that was printed like this was destroyed. and one page went to a post office, and somebody had to write mine to say, hey, this is an error stamp. So, and Jonathan has a picture of 4 of them. Have you still got that out, Jonathan? The inverted Jenny card you
Picture
showed me?
4?
Huh?
I don't think I do, no. A picture of 4.
Yeah, the card you showed me earlier with the Jennies.
Oh, okay. That was a reprint, of course.
Right. It's a reprint.
Let me see. So this is one I got at the post. Well, here, I'll do this. This was issued in 2013, I think.
Oh, there's 6 of them.
And they changed the values, of course. You're right. So the U.S. Postal Service reprinted the design, but each is a $2 stamp.
Mm-hmm.
And you could use it as a $2 stamp, and I think that was the intention, but most people bought them and just kept them on the sheet and collected them.
Now, the original stamp was a 24-cent stamp, was it not?
Right. So William T. Roby of Washington, D.C. was flabbergasted to discover a sheet of 100 stamps mistakenly showing the Curtis JN4H, the biplane known as the Jenny upside down. The clerk reached down under the counter and brought forth a full sheet. Roby recounted 20 years later, and my heart stood still. He would soon learn that he had purchased the only sheet of erroneous stamps to fall into public hands. So you're right, Paul. There must be 100 of those stamps in existence, which is crazy to think, in a way, that each one, I think, maybe I'm wrong about that, is remarkably valuable, like worth close to $1 million, I think.
Yeah. So, if I understood correctly, Mystic Stamp owns 4 original, still connected together. So,
and Paul is going to ask them to send him one for his album.
Yeah.
Or I guess they did right there,
right? Now, that is a reprint. So, magic of internet and artistical skills. But guys, you ain't gotta have a lot of money. I mean, like I said, you can go on eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace. You can find stamps pretty cheap.
Yeah.
And yeah, but you will get some duplicate stamps with every time you order some or whatever. But guys, think about your friends and everybody who might need that stamp. Then you can work up a deal. Say stamp for stamp, or however you wanted to do it. But of course, I can't solo this, Jonathan. For some reason, it don't want to solo. But get some tweezers. I mean tongs.
There you go again.
I heard a guy call these tweezers.
Yeah, today. I think they can be called tweezers. I think tongs is the accepted term, but they're tweezers. Let's face it, they're tweezers.
This is called the spade tongs. You can get the pointed tongs, but I'd be very cautious with those. You can drop them and stab your foot. But also, I got just a regular notebook. I got the D-ring notebook. It's got pockets on the front and the back and on the spine. You can, well, you can see. Decorate your notebook or your, now it's an album. Any way you want to. I got a little creative. Made my own stamp. Do not use this stamp, you'll go to jail. And I just took pictures of some of the stamps that I've got. Copied them out on paper. And just made a collage of stamps. I did do the spine. Those are actual pictures of stamps. In fact, it is the Airmail series that I used.
There you go. So a stamp album, if you were to buy one, say a stamp album for American stamps, you're probably going to spend for a new one $50.
Hey, we're
You can get
talking $8.
Yeah, a good quality binder.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Then you're going to need pages. Jonathan turned me on these hangers.
Hagner.
Hanger.
Hagner. Hagner.
Hagner. And all they do is my tongs. It's got a plastic covering and it's hinged down here on the bottom. And you just lay this over, not much, and then seat your stamps down in there. Let's see if we can't do this. Show you one right here. Let's
So
do
keeps
this.
them flat, keeps them protected, easy to take them out, put them in, reorganize them.
Here we have our stamp. It's just happened to be an 8-cent Airmail stamp. Just pick it up, fill your piece back, and seat it right down to the bottom. Watch it fall out.
Simple as that.
Now
Oh,
they're not going
not
to.
a Hagner. No, they're not going to fall out of a Hagner.
Now,
I bet you could hold that upside down, Paul. They wouldn't budge. They're in there good and tight.
Yep. So that's pretty neat. 5 sheets. They're on the front and the back.
And that has 4 rows. However,
Yeah. got 4 rows, comes and it come with 5 sheets of these for $8.50. And what you want to collect is what you want to collect. This way, you can collect whatever you want. To where you buy a stamp album that's got pictures, then you kind of have to, have those things. And a lot of times you don't fill up an album.
Right.
But this way, I mean, this is my whole airmail series.
You have
Now I
quite a
say
few airmails.
airmail. I did add the special delivery set in here.
Yep. So those are known as back of book stamps. And that's because if you get a catalog, the regular issues are going to be in the front. And then in the last part of the catalog will be airmail stamps, special delivery stamps, postage due stamps, and they're listed in the back of the book, back of the catalog. So they're called back of book. Now, you did a nice job organizing your presidentials there.
Right here we have a half-cent George Washington. And we go to 1. I know you can't see it for the glare of the. We have a 1 cent George Washington, another 1 cent, another 1 cent, and another 1 cent. Now this mark right here is most of you know what a cancellation mark, but this is a pre-cancel stamp. If I'm correct, you get a pre-cancel. Say this one's from New York, New York, New York. It never goes through postage. It never goes to the post office. It goes straight out for delivery. So we got this one, New York, New York. Now here's Miss Martha Washington. It has the same pre-canceled New York, New York on it. And then we have this one from Chicago, Illinois. Here's Johnson's favorite, and I don't know how well you can see it.
My favorite.
But it's got the Wright brothers playing on it. I've got several Martha Washingtons and George. Every one of these are different, just a little different. Now these are the same. These here are the same, but they're different values. I know that ain't a good.
And they can be different, especially those purple Washingtons.
Shades.
And the red Washingtons can be different in how they're issued. Like that one, the last purple Washington you have, if I'm looking at it correctly.
Do this a little better. There we go.
So stamps are sometimes on a sheet and they get ripped off. They're perforated, but they get ripped off. Sometimes they're on a coil, like a roll of tape, and they get pulled. And when the coiled stamps are going to have No perforations on the top, no perforations on the bottom, just on the sides. Yeah, so that's considered a different stamp in that series because it's a coil
Yep.
versus perforated sheet. So that's another way to organize them and collect them.
Here's another coil. Both of these, if I'm not mistaken, both of these were connected together. They just came apart when I soaked
How did you like the soaking process?
them.
How did you like the soaking process? I find it fun, honestly, but
The self-adhesive was a little more difficult
oh yeah.
than what I call the licking sticks. But the licking sticks, yeah, you throw them in water and well, however long you let them soak, longer than 5 minutes, and they're ready to jump off paper.
Yeah. Because the gum is water activated, so put it, like
Exactly.
you said, put it in water 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can even leave them overnight. They're gonna float off.
That's it. Now this was a sheet. You've got perforations all the way around. This is still connected. These four are still connected together.
Okay. I think they
Now
call that a
this one,
pane, P-A-N-E, because it looks like a window pane or
yeah,
panes in a window.
yeah.
That's nice.
Now
Or a
this
block.
one is no perforations on the sides, but perforations on the top, middle, and the bottom.
So those are a coil going, yeah, up and down versus.
Mm-hmm. You got them going horizontal or here's my page I've dedicated for Christmas. I also am collecting the cancellations, cities. This one's just says U.S. Postal Service, Georgia, from December 19th. It looks like PM 1974. And several others. You'll get some cancellation marks that's got, like, here's a snow globe with Santa Claus in it. Here we have a boy elf. Then we have the girl elf, a wreath, a snow globe with a building on it, and there's another girl elf. And they all have a saying, "Happy Holidays."
Now, I wonder if individual post office can do that.
I think so.
And what they have to do. Do they have to get permission? Do they have to?
This one's from New York, New York. And I'm not sure. I can still see the white under. I just split it just to show the snow globe.
Yeah.
Then my space page, which I've got a cool story. I went to Kennedy Space Center in Florida, Cape Canaveral. I have a collection of pictures that we bought. Here's some more. Christmas. Now this one's really cool. Can you read that, Jonathan?
I cannot make that one out. No.
Roma. It's either FERROVIA or PERR. Let me get my magnifying glass.
Is that
See what's
Italian?
on the stamp. It's an Italian stamp.
Yeah, that's neat.
So that come from Italy. And here we have our national park series. And there's a reason I've got space right here. I've got some miniature postcards from the Great Smoky Mountains. These two are the Great Smoky Mountain stamps. Thought about putting a postcard
It's a good
in
idea.
the same way with my space. And then we also have Mr. Marvin Gaye. But that's it so far, guys. Just I'd have no expense in these. Maybe what, $30 the most. I've got a book. I've got somewhere to put my stamps. I've got plenty of stamps. So I do have some duplicates, like this one. I have 3 that are connected together right here. Just because they're connected, I left them.
Oh, absolutely. And that top stamp has the biplane cancel, doesn't it?
Yes.
I'm sorry, the 3 stamps that are connected together.
Yes.
The top stamp has a biplane cancellation, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. That one has the
Oh, that one
biplane.
does. Okay.
This one does too.
Yeah, they did that in the 40s, 30s, I guess, with the with airmail stamps. And if you can find an airmail stamp with that biplane cancellation, it just, I don't know, I think it adds character to it.
It does. And I've got several stamps that's got the biplane. The Martha Washington.
And I think they only did that with airmail, so that Martha Washington must have been part of an airmail
May have.
set.
But yeah, I mean, I've got what, it's like $30 in my book, my pages, the stamps I bought. And then I probably got 400 stamps from just people who sent them to me. Now, Glenda come up with an idea. The stamps that I hadn't gone through yet. We got this little case. And it's flip top plastic case. Got 2 snaps on it. I believe she said shower curtain rings came in. So you have extra stamps. That's a great way to store them.
Yeah.
Until you can get them in the page.
That is great. It lays them flat, it protects them, you get to see what's in there without having to open it.
I run across this little plastic case, holds 5 of the spade fuses for your vehicle. Guys, great storage for your smaller stamps. Now your elongated stamps will fit in here, but they're very tight. You take risk of damaging perforations. But like There we go. These stamps are in this. What's this called, John? Glassine envelope.
Glassadine, I believe.
So you empty these out. Don't throw them away. Like I've got several of them that's still empty. Store your stamps in them.
Mhm.
Lay them, and if you got one, if you can get a little container like this, I mean, it's just simple. Just throw them in there and lay them flat.
Just protects them that much more.
Now I wouldn't leave them in here forever, but it's a great way to hold your extra stamps until you can either find a place in your book, album, or find somebody who needs a certain stamp. I still got some postmarks in these. It's just a Ziploc bag, guys. These are also great for mailing off to your friends and stuff. As you can see, I've got tons of stamps still to go through. Cancellations, more stamps. I mean, I won't be busy for a while.
That's good.
So, and I do appreciate everybody that sends me stamps.
Are most of those American stamps?
90% of them are American stamps.
Yeah.
Now I have this, and I wouldn't advise doing this. It's a little wood box, got a kitty cat on it. But it's got a lot of my Canadian, Newfoundland. I'm not sure what series this is from.
That is a series of stamps that was printed by the post office after World War II, and they commemorate countries that were occupied by the Axis powers and were liberated.
And I know I'm touching these. If you see that dark spot,
yeah,
guys, either tape or a hinge. This stamp's either been taped or hinged, and it discolors your stamps.
Yeah. And your thought was tape, and it certainly looks like it's some cellophane tape. Right, it's going to damage the stamp.
Yeah, it discolors it. I mean, I've got some German stamps. I even have, oh, right there's the rascal now.
Yeah. King George VI, I'm going to guess.
George VI. Yep. I even got a Hitler stamp in here.
Nazi Germany produced a lot of stamps.
There's a German stamp. I don't think I have any Queen Elizabeth stamps. I think I have one or two of her and George together. A Canadian stamp. No, I'm sorry. It's Deutschland. Deutschland. That's a pretty stamp.
JBP has a question for you, Paul.
JBP question: when you buy stamps that are on a solid sheet that have the advertisement of the stamp on it, if it appeals to me, I do. I do. In fact, give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
And he's off. But I don't know if you're talking about this sort of thing, but you know, the inverted Jenny stamps that I showed a moment ago. Are you saying, would you take the stamp, because there are 6 stamps, would I take the stamps off, or would I want the frame around the stamp? Is that what you mean, JBP? If that is, I would absolutely keep them like that.
All right. So I got this in the mail today. And it's talking about when to ship your packages off and everything. And they're advertising their new Christmas stamps. Well, I flipped this thing over. This is not a real stamp, but I wished it was. That would be a cool little stamp.
It would be a nice little one.
A hand drawn. Probably some kid drew this and got it on possibly a stamp. I'm thinking about keeping that one, cutting it out just to put it in there.
It's
But
your collection. You do what you want.
yeah, and that's the beauty of doing, instead of having a guide to go by.
Yeah.
You do it this way. You can do it however you want to. Will it ever be worth anything? Maybe $50, $60 on down the line somewhere. Am I upset because I can't afford the expensive ones? Because I know I can't afford them. I ain't paying, what is that inverted Jenny, millions of dollars.
Right. And part of the reason people collect is with American commemoratives, they're obviously commemorating something important, some important. Here you go, pressing buttons again. My point is a commemorative is going to commemorate something important in history or an important person. And so it's interesting to learn about that. Likewise, if you collect world stamps, it's great to learn about these different countries, some of which don't exist anymore, learning about their culture, their history, their monetary units, because their stamps are going to be obviously stamped in whatever their monetary units are. So it's almost like taking a class in history and world cultures and that sort of thing. And yeah, that's why you do it. I suppose there are people who do it as an investment, but that's not really of interest to me. and each stamp is going to be worth something.
Mhm.
So, you know,
I
50
mean,
years from now when we're not around, somebody's going to get the collection, and if they want to pass it on to somebody else, great. If they want to sell it because it's worth whatever, I'm not going to be around. It's not going to bother me.
exactly. I mean, it's just, you know, you put into it what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't got. I know I'm not going to be able to afford any expensive stamp. I do it because I'm having fun.
And you can have fun and not spend a lot of money.
Exactly. So I mean, like I said, eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace.
And you put the word out, and you'd be surprised who might just have stamps lying around, and they'll say, I don't need them. I don't collect them. I'll send them to you, Paul, and you know, do something useful with them.
I see Michael asked a question. Do you have a Harding Memorial
Oh, I missed that one. Sorry,
issue
Michael.
stamp? I know I have some Harding stamps. I don't know if they're the memorial issues. I did see Tom Kingery was in here, if he's still here.
Harding
Hello?
Memorial issue. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a Canadian stamp, or Michael, or is that a United States stamp? Warren Harding, the former president?
I know I have Warren Hardy. I'm not sure which one he's talking about. I cut him off, Deej. She asked, "Where's Jonathan?" Oh no, where's Jonathan?
Oh. Now, JVP asked that question about the sheet of stamps, I think. And while you were gone, I showed that inverted Jenny set of 6 that I have with the pane around it. And I said I would prefer to just keep them as they are. But I'm not sure if that's what
JVP
she was
asked a question.
referring to.
Yeah, JVP asked a question. If the stamps are all alike, I would keep one or maybe advertisement.
Myself, I'd keep the set, but that's just me.
JVP got into a mess. She ordered, or she bought 2 different sets of stamps.
Is that
I
a
don't
good
remember
thing?
which ones were they again, JVP? Frogs and Christmas stamp. But she likes them both, and she wants to keep. She bought them to put on her Christmas cards.
Oh, I see. I see.
So turtles and Christmas globes. So
Yeah, that's another good way to collect too, because if it's all right, so a a definitive stamp is usually a smaller stamp that has the American flag on it or a president, and they print as many, the Postal Service prints as many of those as you can. A commemorative stamp is a short run. They print, I don't know, say 1 million of them, and that's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. They're not going to be reprinted. So it is interesting to go to the post office and buy those commemorative sorts of stamps, or really any kind of stamps, at face value. So you're getting them for a better price, because once they're gone, secondary sellers might say, well, I'm going to charge double what I paid for them because I have to make a profit, which is understandable. So that's another good way of doing it.
yeah,
Like I said, that inverted Jenny plate, I'm sure, was $12 at the post office back in whenever 2012 or 13, whenever they issued those. So that's another way in a budget to collect stamps.
My goal, I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan. Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's home run record as an Atlanta Brave at 715. This year they came out with a stamp with him on it, commemorating the 715th home run. I would like to have a page which is 20 stamps, I think, and put them in my. It comes on a card with a picture of him beside it. Then they also have what they call a first day cover, basically an envelope with one of the stamps on it, and got his name and crossed bats, baseball bats, as cancellation mark. That one I would love to have. I'll get that one.
When was
Soon,
that
I hope.
released?
Huh?
When was the Hank Aaron stamp released?
This year.
This year. Okay. Because isn't there an earlier Hank Aaron stamp as well?
That I don't know.
There you go, drinking that Pepsi again. As he spits it out. Oh my.
Well, guys, everybody say goodbye to Jonathan because this is his last night hosting.
It's been nice seeing everybody.
No. Good to have fun. And I appreciate Jonathan. He's helped me a lot.
We were just jawing about Pepsi versus Coke. And
yeah. One of those, I forgot to show these.
Deej has a question for you too when you.
Oh, I don't want to do that. These, right now, everything. No. Christmas, space, national parks. There's a bunch of them. How about you, Jonathan?
I collect earlier American stamps, so from 1960 previous. I collect airmail stamps from around the world because I just like airmail stamps. And I mean, my heritage, I'm part English, part Irish, part French, so I collect Irish stamps and French stamps and English stamps. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's enough. That's enough to keep you going for a while. Just American stamps are enough to keep you going for a while.
Christmas in space.
Yeah. And my wife and I used to collect Christmas stamps and Christmas seals. I showed Paul those a little earlier.
I forgot to show these. A couple of bat stamps. Of course, that is the red bat. And that is called leaf nose bat. Those are pretty cool. Well, Jonathan, we've been on an hour, buddy.
And I haven't yawned that much.
I may be.
You can keep it count. You missed a few then. Well, an hour is a good, an hour is a good stream. So thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. Anytime. Maybe we can get some of you others on here, JBP.
Yeah, show us your stamps. Deej said something about Halloween stamps. I think that's what she likes to collect. I don't know if that's her only specialization.
I don't do Halloween.
See, I wonder if Deej collects Halloween stamps from around the world. That would be interesting. I mean, just American Halloween stamps would be interesting, but it is interesting to see what and learn what other people collect. Because that is certainly the beauty of stamps. There are people who collect stamps that depict ships and airplanes and stamps that are, not rectangular. They're triangles or circles or whatever. There are
Triangle
people who collect.
stamps.
Yeah, there are people who
Neat.
collect by country. There are people who collect, airmail stamps. There are people who collect Christmas stamps, stamps depicting animals, stamps from countries that don't exist anymore. So yeah, that's it would be interesting to hear what other people like to collect for stamps.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
They said not many Halloween stamps or old Halloween postcards.
Halloween postcards, interesting.
I mean, you can go flea markets and find old postcards. Well, guess what's on them old postcards? Some really old stamps.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan, I have seen a postcard on somebody's video on YouTube. And the postcard was from New Hampshire. Have you ever heard of the Great Pond?
The Great Pond?
Pond. Like swimming pond,
No.
fishing pond. It's somewhere up there in New Hampshire.
Great Pond. There's a Great Bay. I've never heard of the Great Pond, New Hampshire.
I can't.
See, now I'm going to have to go search that.
You can probably find it quicker than I can.
Great Pond in New Hampshire. Okay, on Wikipedia anyway, it says it's a lake.
Yeah, and that's why when I seen it,
It's not, yeah, not huge. It's not like Winnipesaukee or Sunapee or. Huh. So are you saying they
had a postcard. It was an old postcard.
Yeah.
Black and white, and probably late 40s, 50s.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And it was a pretty neat postcard.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, Dave. And the one I was telling Jonathan about, that was a real photo postcard.
So somebody was probably vacationing there, going to camp there, and I gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying there was a stamp or something from.
No, it was a postcard. But it was pretty cool.
Neat.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. I know it was kind of here, there, and everywhere. But just wanted to bring up the subject of stamping on a budget. You ain't got to buy them expensive stamps. Buy what makes you happy. If you can afford it, go for it. But I know this old boy can't, and I'm having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. Just connect with other people who collect stamps. They're probably going to have extras.
All right. Everybody have a good weekend. Whatever you're doing, find something good. Bye, guys. Jonathan, hang around.